start right off with a tune. The way we do it here, I name 2 tunes. You pick one, say why. I just made a list of basically all my favorite ones.
Okay.
So go off the first down. We'll go either Shine or Goodnight Good Guy.
You go ahead, Dean.
I'm going to say Goodnight Good Guy.
How come?
Because we've all heard Shine way too much.
So much. I don't know. I think Goodnight Good Guy's, it's always been one of my favorite songs.
You guys still play it live at all?
We do. We haven't been playing it.
We haven't
in the past few months.
This interview right here, I think, is going to spur us to
play it again.
Put that back in the repertoire
tonight, maybe.
Man,
can we do it on tonight?
I don't know.
It could happen.
Could happen. Doubt it, but it could.
How long does it take for you guys to rehearse a song like that? Like, let's say you want to throw it back, and you just do it automatically?
Yeah, it just depends on how much we played the song in the past, pretty much. And like, that one we should be able to sling right back in the set.
Yeah, Goodnight would be a song we would just, if we had one run through it at sound check or something, be done. Yeah.
Cool. A lot of people think you guys are a Christian rock band, or you started off as a Christian rock band. You want to dispel those rumors, or is it true?
Well, it was always a spiritual band, I think.
Yeah. As far as the labeling goes, we've always tried to step away from any kind of label outside of, we make music, we make rock, pop music. As far as our faith and on purposes, or, those things exist on a personal level. So,
I don't mind the label. I would always like to think that Collective Soul's music could lend itself towards any religion. It's more of a spiritual thing than it is a secular thing, a certain religion.
Well, I think our perspective is more of a hopeful one, and that's a common thread that exists in many different faiths, a central theme. So I think that just to call it anything, not even just Christian rock, just to call it modern rock or classic rock, I think sort of sells the music short, because music's universal.
I want to talk, sorry, Will, about this one. I just want to talk about being brothers in a band, being on the road with your brother. I know if I was on the road with my brother, it would be tons of fights all the time. I guess you guys are older, so, probably a little less now, but is it hard to be on the road with your brother all the time?
No. I mean, not really. We managed to make it work, and, we're on a bus with, 8 other guys, 9 other guys, and it's all about having tolerance and giving each other space and still trying to figure out how to communicate properly and make it all work. So, but we obviously have moments, but for the most part, it's good.
Cool. What about with the rest of the guys? You guys fight a lot, or not fight a lot, but you get along pretty well overall?
Yeah, we get along pretty well overall.
Yeah. Okay.
We genuinely like each other, so in the long run, you have to realize you're in a relationship here, and get over the little humps that happen in everyday relationships.
Okay. We're kind of getting into Ross there a little bit, but we'll get into that in just a second. I know you probably guys don't want to talk about it too much, but I feel like bringing it up a little bit. Here's another tune, though. When the Water Falls, Untitled.
Well, I'll take this one. I'll go with Untitled. It was one of my favorite songs that we did prior to releasing the record. It was one of the favorite ones of mine, and I haven't heard that song in a long time. And we'll keep rocking too. We'll keep the rocking vibe going as opposed to Waterfall, is kind of laid back.
Now, I want to talk about Ross Totus for a bit. Where'd he go? Because I've been looking on the internet. My brother's been looking on the internet.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
The Ghost.
I think he's had a band from up here, right? I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
He is working on some music, and has recorded some songs with
a band called Hearst.
Yeah, and the singer's from Canada. I forget which band he was in. He just made a decision to go a different way, and that's pretty much the generalization of it.
It was sort of a separate, both sides, but we knew that it was time that we couldn't be in the band any longer. It was due to certain circumstances. So it was
You guys have Joel in the band now, replacing Ross.
Yeah.
Have you your guitar playing a little more often now? Are you playing more lead stuff?
No, not really.
All pretty much covered.
Joel's got it covered.
How'd you guys meet up with him?
We've known Joel for many years. He's been playing with us for about 3 years now. 4 years.
All right. Well, yeah.
But as far as he's been in bands around Atlanta, and he worked with us a number of years back, and they actually made and built amps Yeah, so then that's where that was another
He's been
connection.
he's been a technical consultant, guitar tech, friend of ours for a decade probably. So he fit right in. Personality-wise, we were already buddies. So sometimes personality is almost more important than actual skill on guitar.
You say he's a bad guitar player?
No, but I was going to follow that up with he's an excellent guitar player. So.
Does he play the same way Ross did with the wah-wah? I hate to keep bringing up Ross.
Yeah, he definitely tries to mimic what Ross did on the earlier stuff, but he definitely throws his own twist on all of it. So.
Play another tune? Either The World I Know or She Gathers Rain.
Wow. Well, I would say She Gathers Rain because it's one of my favorite songs off that CD altogether. But what do you think, Will?
I don't know, man. It's your turn. You call it.
All right. She Gathers Rain.
4-year break. I know you're probably sick of talking about it. Where'd you guys go? What'd you guys do? More than one record was recorded. I heard you guys went in the studio a few times, didn't like what you were hearing. You know.
We definitely, well, the 4 years started off just basically as a way for us to recharge our batteries. We were really tired. We had recorded 5 records plus the greatest hits in a period of a little less than 8 years. And we were really tired. So we had a lot of different things going on at that time too. Contractually, we were out of the Atlantic Records contract, and we were dealing with a lot of different personal issues. So we kind of just spread out across America from LA all the way back to Atlanta. And for the first couple years, we kind of just barely stayed in touch. And just found ourselves on a personal level, outside of Collective Soul, kind of.
Did you usually get back into the groove when you guys saw each other again?
Yeah, it was. But like you said, there was a lot of songs that we recorded over this, trying to get another record back out. So there's some B-sides or whatever, that have been recorded that people might hear, might never hear ever.
There's some C-sides.
There's some C-sides. There's some Z-sides out of that stuff.
You ever play any of those songs live? You ever think about it at all? Maybe there was one song, kind of.
Well, there was a song called Youth that was where the title of the CD came from. And we recorded it, and we all dug the song, too, for some reason. At the end of the day, we decided not to put it on the CD. And every once in a while, Ed will play it acoustically.
And actually, didn't we do that for the live DVD? We actually recorded that song for a live DVD that's coming out later this year. It was a Tony. So we recorded with the Atlanta Youth Symphony about 2 weeks ago. 100-person orchestra, kids from 14 to 19 years old, with 20-something Collective Soul arrangements. A friend of ours, and we had some input here and there, but
well, some of the songs had already, like The World I Know. And
some of the songs, the arrangements were there. You just had to cop them on paper, but it was an amazing experience. We did 2 nights at Atlanta Symphony Hall, and brought in a lot of production and made a big spectacle of the whole thing. So we're really looking forward to the final product. It was real exciting.
Is that the first DVD for you guys?
This is our first live DVD, and it'll be a live CD as well.
Cool. When do you expect that to fall with them?
Late September, early October. So.
Nice. You guys also have an acoustic EP that just came out.
Yeah.
Where did the idea come for that?
I think it came from us doing the CD, putting it out. Pardon me. In the end of last year, we were doing a lot of acoustic promo type stuff, and we were spending a lot of time, which we had never done before, with our acoustics in our hand. And we ended up sort of digging it. And we had a couple of days off in Atlanta, and we went into the studio, and I think it was 8 songs, and just wanted to present them in the light that they are before we go into the studio and add all the bells and whistles to it.
And some of them we were just capturing because they were totally different vibes that we had kind of worked out over the whole promo tour thing that we were doing when the record first came out. So so we wanted to capture it. Things like we did a version of Counting the Days. It's a real like laid back, total blues version of it. And I think it was just cool to capture what we were going through, what was going on.
And I think we're also we've put our own record label together.
Yeah.
And I think in our own way, kind of enjoying that freedom of being able to do something spontaneous and put it out in the stores and stretching our arms out a bit. Not that we couldn't have done it before, but it just seems a little bit, I don't know, like we have a little bit more room to maneuver. We made that decision, went and made that CD happen all within like a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was quick.
Now you guys say you have your own record label now. Do you basically, go and you record the stuff? Do you have your own studio, or do you rent out a studio?
We have studio here, but we don't have a framed building.
Oh, okay.
But we have the brains. We just don't have the body.
Yeah, we've done different situations where it was our studio, but one of them was a log cabin for the Discipline Breakdown Studios, and there was a space that it was pretty much Ed's space that we recorded some of this stuff at.
Yeah.
But it was it's pretty much like with the new technology, you pretty much bring a Pro Tools rig into a building and you have a studio.
Do you like working with Pro Tools? I mean, it basically does everything for you, kind of.
Well, if you
no,
it's all about.
You still have to. You still can't polish a turd.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. So
almost on Pro Tools, but almost.
You can polish it, but it's still going to be a turd, though, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a polished turd.
It's all about technology. And that's what you try to learn as a musician and as an artist. You want to use it, but you don't want it to use you. Mm-hmm. And I think that so much. A lot of that's happening in music today.
I've noticed you guys do like the computer stuff, though. I mean, you generate stuff off dosage very, I wouldn't say computer heavy, but it's got those sounds there that sound like you've altered them somehow with pitch or different effects and stuff.
And a lot of those are actually old vintage analog drum machines and keyboards and stuff. But we always run. We've been using Pro Tools. We're one of the first bands to use Pro Tools back in '95.
The second record was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's just a tool. You can overuse any tool, and we try not to. But we definitely try to play it first. It starts with our hands and our mind. So.
Add effects to it, see what it sounds like.
Yeah, and there's always been effects no matter what the system you use. So, I mean, you can go back to cutting tape. It was the exact same thing that people are doing with Pro Tools right now. Is when you cut tape. We were talking about the Black record the other day, the Metallica record, when Lars pretty much had a system where it was like Pro Tools, but he was cutting tape. And it was pre-Pro Tools. Yeah.
Let's play another tune. December Gel.
December or Gel. Well, we've been rocking a lot. We'll go with December. We'll go with the 5-minute laid-back tune.
Talking about the L Music Group, why'd you guys leave Atlantic? Was it just...
Well, it wasn't really a thing where we left Atlantic. We signed a 5-record deal plus greatest hits. So the deal was done.
Was that right off the bat? 5 records and the greatest hits?
I think we
knew you guys would be big?
we renegotiated after the first record. But contractually, we were non-obligated. So at that point in time, we just that's when we started the whole 4-year hiatus, and we had nobody knocking on our door for a record. So what we needed to do was rest and, like I said, gather our wits personally. We all kind of spread out across the U.S. and did our own personal soul searching, no pun intended. We decided to start our own label in the long run. We talked to some different labels during the time that we were recording the tracks for Youth, and nothing really made sense to us. We knew we knew how the corporate label structure thing worked, and nobody was really offering us, to be blunt, nobody was really offering us enough cash to make it worth our time. So we financed the whole record ourselves and released it on our own label. We have a label called L Music Group, and we have one band signed to it, Collective Soul.
Plan on signing any more at all?
I mean, that would be ideal for the label to become strong and for us to be able to produce and do some side projects on the label.
Would you be interested in producing at all?
For sure. I was producing some things on my time off, some different projects in Atlanta.
You too? Any bands that I would have heard of by any chance?
No, I don't think so. Solo artist named Bane Maddox. You can check him out online. Did some songs with him. But the other rock band I was working with pretty much disbanded. So they're not even on the map anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately that would be the deal, but we're not in a rush to do that. We don't want to become the thing we decided to get away from, where technically, a lot of bands on major labels think that they've got it made when they get signed, and it's really just the beginning. And what they find out is when they're signed that everybody's interested in them and everybody's happy about it, but the record comes out and maybe the single doesn't do so well, and next thing you know, you don't really have any friends at the label and you can't get anybody to answer your phone call, and maybe it might be some of your best work you've ever done in your life, and because of the way the music industry is today with timing and things of that nature, your record's on the back shelf and you don't really have any friends at your label that you can depend on. So not that was going to happen to us, but that's a common thing in today's music industry. Artist development has disappeared. There's no such thing.
Yeah, definitely. Completely changed from the 60s.
Yeah, even 70s and early 80s. You had a chance to fail, and if the label believed in you, you got other chances, second, third chances.
Yeah. I think it's going that way. It's going to be more indie labels in the future, just with the whole way downloading's working now.
Yeah,
labels are kind of going away.
Technology is definitely going to play a role in how the whole industry is going to go. It's going to shift for sure. There's going to be a shift, but for the most part, if you're a young band and you're just starting out, for the most part, still the only game in town is to go talk to a major. For better, for worse, it's kind of hard you don't really have the resources, which means money, and the business relationships, aka, radio people that will play your songs and people that will put your record on the shelves that a band like Collective Soul does. So, as much as technology is lending itself to make it easier to release and own your own music, if you want to break out on that larger scale, the major labels are still pretty much the only game in town. But there's a shift going on, and technology is going to play a big part in where the music industry goes in the next 10 years.
Definitely. Agreed. How do you feel about downloading your music? I think it's helped you or harmed you more?
I think it's helped Collective Soul. There's probably some people who have downloaded our record and didn't buy it. I can't say that that's necessarily hurt the band. I definitely didn't think that it was fair to have the whole file sharing thing go on forever. And I know that you can't really stop it totally, but it was a little ridiculous there in the beginning because people weren't going to ever buy a record, and it's hard for us to put a lot of money into the production of a record and then give it away for free. It's
especially when you're financing it yourself.
Yeah, especially when we're financing it ourselves. But overall, I think of downloading as a friend to all musicians, especially when it comes to downloading some of our live tracks. We've put some stuff on the internet that wasn't released. There's a song called Burn that we put on our website. You could download it for free, and it was a mix, full mix, a song that was done. So I think there's definitely more than anything else is positive, the whole technology file sharing thing for music.
Cool. Let's play another tune. Precious Declaration or Listen?
Let's see. Precious Declaration or Listen, both off the Discipline Breakdown.
That's right.
Let's go with Precious Declaration.
Cool.
That's the one that probably encapsulates what we were going through at that time more than any other song.
Which would be what?
Well, we were going through a big lawsuit with our first manager, and Precious Declaration is about, the chorus is, yours is yours and mine you leave alone.
We do this thing on the show every week called 5 questions. 5 quick questions, 1 word answer. Favorite album of all time?
Favorite album of all time, Abbey Road.
Nice. What's your favorite track?
Favorite track, let's go with the George Harrison tune. While My Guitar Gently Weeps? Isn't that on there?
No, it's on the White
That's
Album.
White Album.
Here Comes the Sun's on Abbey Road.
I Want You, She's So Heavy. How about that?
Yeah, good tune. Cool. Lennon or McCartney?
That's Lennon or McCartney. That's a debate that happens on the bus all the time. I have to say Lennon and McCartney. I like them for both totally different reasons. But when it comes down to my vote, I end up musically. I say McCartney. And on a world,
because he's a bass player too.
He's a bass player, and I'm such a Beatles connoisseur. I can kind of handpick the things that Paul did and the things that John did, and they're actually a two-headed monster. And it's one of those arguments for me that you can't really separate, because together they were a force. You separate them and you try to pick who was better, and it's really a null and void argument for me. But I'll just go with Paul and leave it at that.
Awesome. Alcohol or marijuana?
Alcohol or marijuana? Got to choose one?
Yep.
I got to say marijuana.
There you go. Cool.
Alcohol's too much of a hangover.
Agreed. Song you've written you're most proud of?
Some stuff off Dosage, probably. Maybe No More, No Less.
Cool. And 1 word, Collective Soul?
1 word about Collective Soul?
1 word. First thing that comes to your mind when you think of your band?
Positive.
Cool. Let's play another tune. Counting the Days or Crazy Train Live at Woodstock?
Ooh, Counting the Days. That's a hard one, though. Counting the Days. We'll go with that one. It's off the new record. Let's hear it. We've been playing almost 2 hours right now.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're well over 20 songs at this point. But we're going to play all of the hits that you know, most all of the hits you know. And we're playing about at least 6 tunes off of Youth right now also.
Nice.
And we're going to, we're throwing a lot of energy out there right now. We're really feeling good on stage. And I feel like we're playing on a level we've never really attained before. So it's real exciting for me right now. We've always tried to keep ticket prices down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Check them out. Pick any tune off any record. What do you want to hear?
Me?
What do you want the listeners to hear?
Any tune.
Well, off one of your records.
Oh, one of our records.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's got to be a Collective Soul song.
What's your favorite one?
Well, let's see. Let's go with Heavy off of Dosage. For me, Dosage was a great time in our career, and I really enjoyed the whole record. So here we go.
Thanks so much, Will.
Yep, thank you,
Appreciate
buddy.
it.